Hello, hello, my friends. Welcome back to Meet Me on Market. Today, I'm coming at you in a little different way. We are not live today because unfortunately AWS is down. So it's not the usual of you guys chatting with me live, but it's okay because I will be back again next week and you guys can ask me all the questions that you were going to ask this time, but you can still watch it. So watch it however you are in the future, okay? We're here with you. Today's show is all about The Little Mermaid, and I'm really excited because not only was The Little Mermaid one of my absolute favorite movies growing up, but the live action is out everywhere starring Halle Bailey, and it is truly a masterpiece. Also, throughout today's show, since you guys are not here with me live, I'm going to be talking to my friend Mitch, who's behind the camera, who you guys don't usually see, who you can't see right now. But let me paint a picture for you. Mitch is a tall gentleman, okay? He's a wonderful man. He has a hat on. He is the king of plaid, okay? We got some jeans. We got some sneaks. A great smile. A great personality. How you doing today, Mitch?
Hello, everybody on the interwebs.
On the www.
WWWs.
Today, I'm basically going to torture Mitch by having full-blown conversations about him and his life and, you know, about The Little Mermaid, how he feels about Disney and all that good stuff, since I can't talk directly to you guys, but that's okay. First of all, let's just take it back to childhood, okay? Because before we talk about The Little Mermaid live action, it's important to talk about where that initial love started. For me, I have a lot of favorite Disney movies, okay? And I'm a huge fan of the fact that they have decided to make these movies into live actions because I think it's fun to see it either reinvented or if they're telling the same story. It's just cool to see that same story with real people, right? So growing up, my favorite Disney movie, of course, Little Mermaid. It was between The Little Mermaid and Hercules were my two number ones, if I can have two number ones. I hear that it's in the works. They're creating a Hercules live action. If you have not seen Hercules, I need you to immediately watch it after you watch this, okay? Because it is one of the most underrated Disney movies, truly, if you don't know the story. So it's all Greek mythology, right? Hercules, he became a god, but he wasn't always a god, okay? He was, when he was born to Zeus. He was the son of Zeus. And then Hades, who was not a good god because obviously he's the devil, but he used to be friends with Zeus, which is true because the devil used to be friends with God. Anyway, there's some lines there. Anyway, so Hades hires his two little friends and he hires them to kill Hercules because Hades has a grand plan of one day ruling all, right? He wants to take down Zeus. He wants to be the main dude in charge, okay? And then these three muses. Not the muses, they're like psychics. They're like, listen, dude, you want to rule the world, but the problem is when Hercules becomes a full-blown adult, he's going to become a god, and he's going to destroy your whole plan, okay? So he's like, crap. So he hires these two dudes to kill Hercules. They don't fully succeed because he was supposed to drink this potion, and because he didn't drink the full potion, he didn't lose all of his power, so he still had his powers and he didn't die, right? But now he's human and he can't be a god anymore because he lost his glow, quite literally, doesn't glow anymore. So now he's human-ish, and he struggles through life because he's super strong, right? So he goes about life and he's like trying to help his grandpa, herd whatever, cattle, but he's too strong, so he'll throw stuff and hurt people, right? So one day, I'm telling the long version of this story, but I'm truly trying to paint the whole picture for you. So one day, he's like, listen, I'm different from everybody else, and everybody's making fun of me because I'm super strong. I need to go seek out where I'm truly from, because he knows his parents aren't his real parents, but they're his parents at heart, right? He's adopted-ish. So one day, he goes to the temple of Zeus, okay? Think of a temple. There's statues, there's a statue of Zeus. So he goes to the temple and he sings a really great song on his way there, Go the Distance, part 1. And he gets to the temple of Zeus and he's like, look, man, I don't know where I'm from, but I know something's different because I can throw buildings, okay? And then Zeus comes alive and it scares the shit out of him because statues don't usually come to life. And then he's like, listen, you are my son. You are the son of Zeus. And if you want to become a true hero, you're going to have to prove yourself on earth to become a god again. And he's like, cool, how do I do that? And then he's like, seek out Philoctetes, okay? Philoctetes is Danny DeVito, but he's like a little half animal, half human with horns. Cool, he's little. So he does that because he is a trainer of heroes. Wow, I didn't realize how well I know this story. All right, stay with me. So he seeks out Philatides, and is it Philatides? But are they just trying to do a play on words because it's Disney? Maybe. The cat is still in the bag on that one. So he seeks him out, he trains him over years, right? He makes him super buff, makes him look like a Hemsworth, okay? And then one day Hercules is ready to start fighting some crime and saving some people, okay? Because he thinks that's what he has to do to become a god once again. So he goes out into the world, he goes to, I forgot what the town is, but it's like Athens pretty much, right? And there's a whole bunch of turmoil there. Shit is just going down constantly, okay? And so he like fights monsters and stuff, and then eventually people start to take him seriously, and they're like, all right, this is our new hero. Then there's a great song called Zero to Hero, sung by the Muses, and the Muses are like they're just dope, okay? It's like all gospel music, and they're just cool, okay? They're like the narrators of the story, proclaimers of heroes, if you will. And then he meets Megara. Megara is our love interest, okay, who I think is going to be played by Ariana Grande, because Ariana Grande did a great version of I Won't Say I'm in Love, okay? So they fall in love, and Philatides, yeah, that's his name, Phil for short, is like, listen, dude, you cannot get distracted because you need to become a hero and a god so that you'll be painted in the stars quite literally, and I'll get my rep back, okay, my street cred. So then Hades is like, oh, he finds out that his little friends that he hired did not kill Hercules, because he's like, who is this dude who's fighting all my monsters? So Hades is pissed, right? And little does Hercules know that Megara is working with Hades because she sold her soul to the devil because she wanted to save her ex-boyfriend. Really, it's really intricate for a kid's movie now that I think about it, but this is what happens. So then eventually, Hercules defeats all of Hades' monsters because Hades is trying to throw anything at Hercules to try to take him down, right? And so eventually he's like, all right, I need to pull out the big dogs. And so he awakens the Titans, okay? This is the part where Disney's gonna have to spend a lot of money if they make this a live action. So the Titans are natural disasters, basically, okay? But in the form of monsters. Very creative, right? So it's like a tornado, what else? Like a volcano, frozen monster, if you will, that blows ice, okay? Just a lot of scary stuff, right? Excuse me, is one of the Titans in my throat? Jesus. Okay, so then he unleashes them, right? And so they just start wreaking havoc. And so they make their way to Mount Olympus, which is not only a neighborhood in Los Angeles that's really expensive, but it is where Zeus and the other gods live in the story, okay? So they make their way to Mount Olympus and they start wreaking havoc on the gods, okay? And then Zeus gets frozen into this hodgepodge of lava and ice and wind. And then so Hercules is like, not on my watch. And then eventually, long story long, he saves the day. And he's like, look, I won. Don't I get to go home now? And Zeus is like, oh, that's what you thought being a true hero meant, just saving people? Nope. You have to do a selfless act, basically. So then Megara sacrifices herself to save Hercules, and she essentially dies. And then Hercules is obviously real distraught, right? So then he goes down to Hades, and he basically jumps into a river of souls. Not basically, quite literally a river of souls. Okay, just a whole bunch of dead people floating around. It's really scary. Honestly, if they make it into a live action, I'm not so sure about this part. And he dives through the river. And as he's diving through the river, because he's trying to find her soul to put back onto her human body, it makes sense when you see it. He's gradually becoming really, really old, okay? It's like Benjamin Button in reverse, but in 10 minutes. So he's swimming, and then eventually he reaches her, and he reaches her in time that it doesn't kill him because he becomes a full god, right? Selfless act. This is what Zeus was talking about. He saves her. He risked his life for the woman he loved, and that was enough to make him immortal. So he becomes a god again. He starts glowing again. There's another great song. He gets painted in the stars. Phil gets a street cred, and everybody's happy, and Hades dies. The end. So, I say that all to say, first of all, Mitch, have you seen Hercules?
It's been many years since I have, but I feel like I just saw it again.
Right, I painted that picture for you.
Absolutely. If you need to, update the Wikipedia page, we could transcribe this, and I think everyone will benefit.
You know what I should do? Maybe I should do a show where I get drunk and I just tell the synopsis of different Disney movies.
100%.
just different art history. They have the drunk history show. We'll figure it out. So anyway, it's a fantastic movie, and I'm really excited for it to become a live action because if they do it right, it could be spectacular. They would have to spend a lot. I mean, I'm sure live actions already cost a lot of money, especially like the Little Mermaid, which we're going to get to because of all the special effects that it takes. And Hercules is one of those because, first of all, Mount Olympus, right? You have all the gods. How are you to make that look right? You know, that's a lot of CGI, a lot of blue, red screen, green screen, and then all the monsters are going to have to be CGI that he fights, and then all the Titans. The Titans is the part where I'm like, okay, don't get this wrong because they look so cool in the cartoon, and to make them, I have no doubt that Disney can do it because from what I've seen them do with some CGI, it is time. 2023, they finally have, really after Avatar, like we have the technology, they can do it right. Now it's gonna come down to casting because you got a lot of people, okay? You got the muses, you got Hercules, you got Megra, you got Hades, you got the gods, you got a whole bunch of people, okay? They've already started making lists on Twitter. For the muses specifically, we got like Jennifer Hudson, we got Nika Noni Rose, we got Janelle Monáe. I say throw Beyonce in there because why not? You know, Hercules, I'm not sure. Maybe one of the Hemsworth brothers. I would be here for that. Megra, again, Ariana Grande is up for it, but who knows? It could be anyone, really. I am just interested and excited to see what they do with that movie because I see a Halloween costume coming for me. I don't know if I've ever talked about it on this show, but Halloween is my Super Bowl. I don't think you guys understand. Like, I take Halloween so seriously that if I don't already have my Halloween costume idea cemented by like July, I start to get nervous because I have to pre-plan, I have to order different things, I have to do trial and error when things come in, if I'm like, does this look right? It's a whole situation. So when October comes around, we're gonna have to do a whole show on Halloween. I'm gonna show you guys all my Halloween costumes because if I do say so myself, she's the queen of Halloween. Mitch, how do we feel about Halloween?
It's probably my favorite holiday. I really do enjoy Halloween, and I haven't had the greatest costume the last few years. I've kind of been slacking in that area, but over the course of a few seasons of Halloween, I've put some good stuff together.
What's like your favorite costume that you've done?
Mr. Clean a few years ago was very funny.
Did you do a bald cap?
Absolutely. Yes. My mom helped me with it. It was incredible. I had white eyebrows and the bald cap, and I like the irony of him being very big and buff, and I am just tall and thin, and so I've tried to kind of play off that for a few different types of costumes.
Wait, I love that. I love the commitment, the fact that you wore a bald cap.
Yeah, you have to. No one would know who you are if you didn't.
True. I respect it. Because listen, I'm not one to judge, but I get a little judgy at Halloween. And
you gotta go all in.
You gotta go all in.
Yeah.
I hate when people wear just like the this is my costume orange shirts.
No. They can't come to the party.
Have some creativity, you know?
Yeah.
Where is your inner child? Yeah, I don't like that. So anyway, we're gonna do a whole show on Halloween eventually. I want to talk about Halloween now. We're gonna say that for the Halloween show, but really quick, I must say, my favorite costume that I've ever done was the genie from Aladdin. I did paint myself head to toe blue. It was an experience. It was a lot of fun.
How long did that take you?
It didn't take too long. I would say, like 30 minutes.
You had to have had help.
I didn't. I did it all myself.
How did you get your back?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
It's a long paint roller.
I have really long arms and I've put myself to the test because of dresses, you know, I live alone and having to zip them up. It's true. Can you guys see?
Yeah, can your hands touch each other?
Yep.
From behind? Oh, wow.
Yep. I got long arms. I painted.
Or you're just very flexible, either or.
I wish I was. I'm not. My arms are flexible and my thumbs. Did I show you guys this already? This is one of my hidden talents. I think they might be double jointed, but my legs and everything else, I'm trying to work on it. One time I did a split challenge, and I just tried to do the splits in 10 days, and it was very painful, and I got 3 inches off the ground, which is impressive. If you commit, like if you stretch, I like had a consultation by a contortionist and everything to show me how to get it fast. And if you stretch in the correct stretches for 20 minutes a day, you can do it in 10 days. It's truly wild. I wouldn't recommend doing it because I was in a lot of pain, but it's good. Make sure your body is warm because it's just not a good idea to strain your muscles like that. And you do need to take some days off, but it can be done. It can be done.
It's important.
Thank you. I lost it. Trying to get it back. But okay, more on Disney. So Hercules, I brought that up because that was one of my favorite Disney movies, and also The Little Mermaid and Mulan. Mulan is also good. Have you seen Mulan, Mitch?
I haven't seen Mulan, actually.
Oh my gosh, I'm excited for you because...
Mulan, not Mulan, Milan, right?
No, Mulan, you're right. It's the first time. Mulan.
Okay.
A really good movie. I don't have to go into the full synopsis of that one too, but essentially it's based off of a true story, but I think they tweak it a little bit for the movie. But Mulan is this young girl who's like kind of a rebel because at the time it's in ancient China, like women had their roles and the men had their roles, and the women were supposed to be like very submissive and like the homemakers and whatever. And Mulan was like, I don't want to do that, okay? I want to be a baddie and I want to like fight crime and be cool and defend my family's honor, okay? So, damn, not me going into the synopsis again. I'm gonna do a brief one, I promise it's gonna be long story short. So, one day, the Huns invade China, okay? And so the emperor's like, you guys have to, meaning the citizens of China, need to go fight the Huns in a war, okay? So they summon a man from each household. And just so happens that the only man in Mulan's household is her dad. And her dad is an older gentleman, okay? He's probably in his late 60s, 70s, and he also has already fought in a war, and so he has injuries. He's just not in good shape to go fight in a war. And so he's like, I'm gonna do it because he's an honorable man. You know, we're talking ancient China. He's gonna do what he needs to do to protect his family. And Mulan is not having it. She's like, absolutely not, you can't do this. And he's like, you are being disrespectful because this is my role. And she's like, all right. So she goes to bed, and in the middle of the night, she steals her father's armor and she goes off to fight, okay? Which during this time, really bad idea, just not good. She could be sentenced to death just for being a woman. It's just whatever. She doesn't care, okay? She's like, I got this. So obviously her ancestors, the gods, they help her out, and they send Mushu, okay? Mushu is a little dragon played by Eddie Murphy. He goes to help Mulan to lead her to justice, okay, to make sure she doesn't die. And so Mulan cuts her hair, she puts it in a bun, and she binds her boobs, and she's like, no one's gonna know that I'm a woman. Which honestly, in a lot of these movies, like Superman, for example, Hannah Montana, I don't really understand why people can't tell, okay? Because Superman just removes his glasses and puts them back on, and all of a sudden I'm supposed to think he's a different person. It's the same dude.
They're gonna know.
They're gonna know.
Nobody's gonna know. They're gonna know.
No, they're gonna know.
They're gonna know.
I have never understood. And so Mulan, like, girl, I can still tell you're a woman if you just cut your hair and goodbye. So whatever. Also Hannah Montana, that one.
Very androgynous.
Maybe, but she wasn't. In the movie, I could, like, just from jaw lines alone, you know? But whatever, I digress. So Mulan goes off to fight, and she trains, and she builds her muscles. She learns to fight combat amongst her other warriors, and she kills it, okay? She's like the best one there, which, like, I'm all here for. Anything you can do, I can do better. Like, women can also, but I'm gonna tell you right now, if somebody put me in, like, Marine training, I am willing to bet that I could not hold a candle to any of those dudes, okay? I just don't have the muscle mass, first of all, to do any of it. But I would try. In her case, it was do or die, okay? So she did it. Anyway, so they go off and they eventually defeat the Huns, which is really hard. I know I'm skipping around, and it made it seem like that was just a small feat. It was really hard, okay? She almost died like 3 times, and everybody almost died like 3 times. But they defeat the Huns. The emperor honors her. Everybody bows to her. It's like a really big deal, okay, for a woman to be held in that stature at that time, okay? So it's great. Her father lived. She was great. It's a great movie, so watch it. But The Little Mermaid. Little Mermaid has always been a favorite. And I don't know exactly what drew me to it initially, because yes, when you break down the story, it is a bit problematic that a woman gives up her voice for a man, but listen. The live action changed my mind about that whole scenario, which I don't know why it changed my mind, because they stick exactly to the original story. So in case you don't know anything about The Little Mermaid, if you've been living under a rock like Patrick Star, which is also underwater, not me cracking myself up. The story of The Little Mermaid, okay? I believe it was written by Hans Zimmer. That could be wrong, because that sounds like a musician.
He's a composer.
He's a composer. Okay, so maybe Hans Zimmer did the lyrics to, no?
It's very possible he just created the music for the...
Maybe that, but that's Alan Menken. Somebody, somehow, oh my God, the trailer. Hi, are we watching the trailer right now? Let's watch.
You broke the rules. You went to the above world.
A man was drowning. I had to save him.
This obsession with humans has to stop.
I just want to know more about them. Ariel!
every time.
Poor child. I can help you. You can't live in that world unless you become a human yourself.
Is that even possible?
That's what I live for.
You're a mermaid.
That doesn't make us enemies.
Something about you seems different. I can't quite figure it out.
She got legs, you idiot.
Ow! I get emotional every single time. So that's what it's about.
I have a fun fact about The Little Mermaid.
Tell me.
Are you familiar who the character Ursula is based on?
A drag queen. I don't know her name though.
She was, and I have it up here on the phone. I'm like the perfect producer over here. I
Yeah.
had to look this stuff up to make sure I got it right.
Tell me.
The triple threat drag queen, actor, and singer. His name was Divine.
Divine.
So the original character in the 1989 movie was inspired by her.
I absolutely love that. Love it. I love me a drag queen.
Yeah, apparently a fact that was mere speculation at first, but has since been confirmed by those involved with the film.
Obsessed. I'm so obsessed with that. And Melissa McCarthy is who plays Ursula in the live action. She talks about Divine. I haven't been to a drag show in I don't know how long. I need to go. If you're in LA, go to Hamburger Mary's.
Drag brunch.
Drag brunch. I went to Drag Brunch, not Hamburger Mary's.
It's David Arquette's.
Maybe.
He puts it on because his sister was trans.
Cool.
And she passed away, and so it's kind of like in honor of her, I think.
Oh, I love that.
Pretty sure. Don't maybe
I
quote
like
me on
that.
but
I mean, if I like the story, if it's true. Yeah, if you've never been to Drag Brunch, jump on that right now. So The Little Mermaid, it's just so good. Before I get to the live action, like the movie just awakened something in me as a child, okay? It made me happy. I liked seeing mermaids. I loved the love story. I just thought it was sweet. Ursula scared the crap out of me. It was everything that you want in a movie, okay? So when I heard that they were making a live action, I was like, absolutely yes. But I was a little nervous because at that time, I don't think maybe Aquaman had come out because when they first announced The Little Mermaid to when it came out now, it was like 4 years, okay? So there was a lot of time in between.
Aquaman was out. That was with Jason Momoa.
Yeah, okay, so I saw Aquaman and I didn't like the way the technology looked.
Not Vincent Chase.
Who do people think that Jason Momoa is?
Did you ever watch Entourage?
No.
Okay. In Entourage, the television show on HBO, that was his biggest role. He got Aquaman.
Oh, wait, Jason Momoa?
No,
the character.
The main character in Entourage, his main character in the show his name was Vincent Chase.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn, not me ruining the joke and not getting it.
I'm sorry.
It would have been funny if I got
It's
it.
not really that funny if you have to explain that.
I know, I'm sorry. I could tell it was funny if I'd seen Entourage.
We'll go with the Jason Momoa version. We'll stick with that.
Perfect.
But
Sorry,
it
Mitch.
came out before Little Mermaid, so.
Okay, so I saw Aquaman and I was like, I didn't really like the way the technology looked underwater. I was like, love Jason Momoa. Jason Momoa looks good. I don't care if he's on water, in water, outside, clothed, naked. I love Jason Momoa, so he wasn't the issue. I was just like, man, this looks kind of corny. So I was nervous about The Little Mermaid because I was like, oh no, please don't. I just need it to look right, okay? I need them to do this movie justice because it's my favorite. And then I found out that Halle Bailey was cast. Okay? I was really happy because this is the thing. Yes, the racists were very upset, okay, that a black woman was chosen to play Ariel. I had the complete opposite reaction, obviously. I was really happy because representation is everything. And growing up, I was born in 1994. We didn't have Princess Tiana until 2009, okay?
Isn't it quite silly, though, that they would get upset about, a black person playing a mermaid when mermaids aren't even real in the first place?
Real.
It's from the start fictitious.
Hello?
So it can be truly anyone.
That was the craziest part for me because I already knew, like, whatever. I just know how people are, so I knew they were going to be upset if you take a classic character, but it's so true. She's a mermaid.
People just want to be upset about anything.
For no reason.
Yeah.
Because the Little Mermaid is the one Disney movie, I could probably think of a few more, where she doesn't have like a back, like, for example, Mulan needs to be Chinese. Princess Tiana needs to be black because her whole storyline is about her being from New Orleans and it goes with her background, right? The Little Mermaid, that she can be whatever because mermaids are not real. And what I always say, I'm like, when people are like, well, Ariel wasn't black, I'm like, well, Jesus wasn't white and nobody ever protests about that, okay? So.
Facts.
So I was really happy because, like I said, I didn't have representation growing up of a Disney princess. So the fact that my favorite Disney princess was going to be played by a black woman, I was like, oh my God. And I loved Halle Bailey because I was a really big fan of her and her sister Chloe. Like they sing music together. They were in a group together at the time. So I was like, oh my God, she's amazing. Her voice is incredible. Great casting, right? So I was so excited. I remember exactly where I was when I found out that they cast her. And literally 4 years went by, you guys. It was 4 years in between. It makes sense that it takes a movie like that long to be made because there's a lot of technology. You gotta cast people, it's just a lot. So finally, May 26th of 2020, the year 2023, the movie finally comes out. And y'all, first of all, this is not a spoiler because listen, the movie has been out for about almost, not a month, but 2-3 weeks now, okay? So you have no excuse. And also, we already know the story, so I'm not giving away anything, but spoiler alert, okay? In this point in the video, if you have not seen the live action, go see the live action, then come back and watch this part, okay?
And if you don't know the story, just rewind this VOD about 10 minutes.
Right.
And you'll learn all about it.
And you'll learn all about it, all right? So.
And then go see the movie.
Go see the movie because the movie is so good, you guys. Okay, so I went to the premiere, which was absolutely insane. First of all, like, it was magical. And I had never been to a premiere, like, of that magnitude, a Disney premiere, because they really pull out all the stops. They always have it. I'm pretty sure they always have at least the LA world premiere on Hollywood Boulevard, and they made a blue carpet instead of a red carpet, which made sense because it was underwater, and they created Ariel's grotto where she does part of your world. Yep, that's me that you're looking at right now. We actually have a dupe of the dress that I wore. So it's not exactly the dress, but we have it available for sale. We have one from Nasty Gal, which is like a fraction of the price. So you guys are making out like a bandit. It is the pleated bust halter cutout maxi dress for only $44.80. Okay, we have another one. It's a premium velvet sequin bandeau. That one's $47.20. So like you guys are making out like, okay, it's a steal. I wore these gold shoes. We have a dupe of those. Those are the metallic platform 2-part heel, only $34.40. Okay, I'm upset that I didn't have an episode of Meet Me on Market to watch before I went to the premiere because I'm seeing how much money I could have saved. But that's all right. I digress. So if you guys want my look, we do have dupes available. But when I picked out my dress, I was like, I just want something that is Little Mermaid themed, and I did not mess around, okay? So I chose the dress that I did. You guys, the premiere was absolutely insane. They had, I forgot the name of the specific drums from the Caribbean. They have a specific name, but they had a whole like band of people playing music because the whole movie takes place in, you know, the islands and
Just a steel drum.
Steel drum, thank you. Steel drum. So they had steel drum players. So the tone was set right on the carpet. You have the blue carpet. McDonald's was one of the sponsors. So they had like a whole truck booth. Like not just a food truck. They had like I don't know how to describe it, like a wall of like a pop-up shop of McDonald's, and they had people passing around little McDonald's fries on trays for hors d'oeuvres, and it was one of the most pleasant sights that I've ever seen because
McDonald's activation?
Yeah, kind of, but like it was huge. Like I had never seen like it was like the McDonald's full store. What would you call it? What would you call restaurant? But on the carpet. And so fries just in general are my favorite food. But specifically McDonald's fries. So when I saw people passing them out, a small tear formed in one of my eyes. So
a bit off-brand for a Little Mermaid. You'd think that maybe,
trout,
fish sticks.
Seems like it'd be a little morbid though, don't you think?
Yeah, okay, you're right.
You can't eat the fish and then watch them. They're our friends in the movie.
True, it was a bit dark.
Damn, can you imagine little flounders on sticks? fried. So because they didn't want to offend the mer people, they did fries instead. So that was really cool. And then, so, you know, you go on the carpet, you take pictures, you mosey around. There's a lot of like mingling and eating and whatever. It's cute. And then the movie was actually shown in the Dolby Theater. I think usually Disney does their premieres at the El Capitan, so it's interesting that they did the Dolby. The Dolby is where they host the Oscars every year. So that was cool. I've never been inside the Dolby Theater. I've been on the stairs, because if you just walk down Highway Boulevard, you can go on the stairs, but I've never actually been inside the theater. So that was really cool. Like the theater walls have just huge pictures from the Oscars throughout the years in black and white, so that's cool. And then they put the years where, depending on what the best picture was, they put, so that was really cool. And then they give you free popcorn, and they give you free drinks and water and stuff, and then you go sit down and you watch the movie. And like the craziest part for me, which like, again, I'd been to premieres before, but not one of this magnitude, so I was like, oh, so there must be a section where like the cast sits and like celebrities sit, and then like everybody else is kind of like, no, it's like, it's just everybody's in a Tamara Mowry from Sister Sister was like a row behind me, and then there was some Marvel dude who I didn't know who he was because I haven't seen every Marvel movie, but apparently he was in our row and we had to pass by him to sit down. My friend told me, but shout out to Naz Perez, I love you. I didn't know who he was, but she was like, that's who that is. And then also Anika Noni Rose, who plays, she is the voice of Princess Tiana. She was also in our row, so that was just wild to me, the fact that everybody is just like in there, right? So I was just overwhelmed. To be honest, so I'm already so excited to watch the movie. You're just like overstimulated by everything that's going on. And then before the movie starts, they have the director and the whole cast come out on the stage, and they introduce everybody one by one, and they do like really nice little spiels about everyone. And then obviously lost my freaking mind when Halle Bailey came out. She looked absolutely stunning. And then the movie starts. And it's so funny because I've seen the movie twice now. The second time for me was a completely different experience than the first time. Like the first time I enjoyed it, but the second time I watched it, I cried 3 times. And it was like I was watching a different movie. Like I said, the first time was incredible, but something happened to me the second time I watched it. I think it was because I already saw everything. I already saw like what the technology was gonna look like. I saw what each of the characters were gonna look like. So it's like that overstimulation was gone, and I could just enjoy it for what it was, and it was just fabulous. Because when the premiere happened, they hadn't really shown you in the trailers what anything looked like, and then after the premiere came out, of course, like the trailers started to become more in depth, and you really got to see what the universe that they created for the movie looked like. So it was just like a lot, seeing everything for the first time. But I loved it. But like I said, the second time, cried like a baby. So they killed it with the technology. Everything, like, sorry Aquaman, but the Little Mermaid did that. I don't know, something happened in between the years, but the technology was just seamless. I fully believed everybody was underwater. The hair movement, the beards, the tails, everything was chef's kiss. Only thing that I thought was really funny, and I thought this way the first time I saw it and the second time I saw it, that Flounder looked like he should be on a plate. He just looked a little too real. The cartoon, he looks like, you know, he's a little chubby, you know, fish. And then in the live action, they made him look like an actual flounder. That's the name of the fish, right, man? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the name of the fish, flounder.
He was just like a flounder, and I needed him to have a little bit more meat on his bones, but other than that, it was cool. Like, Sebastian was cool, Scuttle was cool, except one part I'm confused about, and we can talk about this next time when we're live. I don't understand how there was a part where Scuttle was underwater talking, and I don't think I've ever seen I don't think seagulls can breathe underwater, so that was a little strange, but they did make a comment about it. They were like, after they finished talking to him for a while under the water, Scuttle was like, I gotta go get some air. So I don't know, maybe they just, probably to make it easier with the CGI, like in that whole part, they had to like have that part underwater, whatever.
They do dive into the water to get fish. So I think it's temporary, like a human. You know, they hold their breath for moments and then they have to be out.
Maybe they just like made that extreme. He was under there he like had a full-blown conversation.
It's a movie. We can't look into it too much.
Again,
it's about mermaids.
It's like, it's not real, Drew, so
yeah.
I'm that annoying person. Like
If we can make a movie about a mermaid, we can have birds talking underwater.
Not the movie being about a mermaid and I'm nitpicky about Scuttle breathing underwater. I'm like, that's not real. That doesn't make sense.
That doesn't check out.
This is what I mean by the first time I was paying attention to stuff like that, and the first time I was like, Drew, it's a movie about a mermaid. Like, just enjoy it for what it is. Watch it. This is what I recommend. If you haven't already seen it, watch it from the perspective of your childhood self. Because if you watch it, you will just be like, whoa, because it truly makes you believe that mermaids are real.
Wide-eyed and full of wonder.
Yes, truly, because it's so magical. Magical is the right word, because it just looks ethereal. And especially, I want to keep seeing it, not me just spend a whole bunch of money watching this movie in theaters a whole bunch of times, but I want to keep seeing it on a big screen because it just makes you feel like you're immersed in it, you know? So highly recommend. Another part of the movie and obviously I'm going to talk about Halle last because she was perfect, but Ursula, Melissa McCarthy. I've been a fan of Melissa McCarthy for a very long time because I was a really big fan of Gilmore Girls. I don't know if you guys have seen Gilmore Girls. If you haven't, it's available on Netflix, all 7 seasons, plus the one where they brought it back and then did a whole whatever. And Melissa McCarthy played Suki on Gilmore Girls, and I've just always loved her. And I can't remember when Gilmore Girls first started, but Melissa McCarthy has been in the game for a very long time. And I knew as soon as they announced that she was playing, I was nervous about anyone playing Ursula, to be honest, because I was just like, how? Like, I didn't understand how they were gonna do Ursula with CGI, like who could pull off Ursula, because she's just such a larger than life type character. But when they announced Melissa McCarthy, I was like, okay, I love Melissa McCarthy. Good luck to her because I'm sure she's nervous. That's a lot to pull off. And she absolutely slayed this role. Y'all, like it's hard for me to even explain because it's hard to take a character that is so classic and that everyone knows so well and make it your own. And she really just took elements of, the Ursula that we've all come to know and love and hate because she sucks. And just and take the elements of her, but then add Melissa McCarthy. So she was funny. She was just fabulous. And the CGI that they did on Ursula was truly impeccable. Like, you could just tell they spent extra money on Ursula's scenes because the tentacles, the way they would move, and I've watched so many interviews and done a deep dive into how they did it all. When they were filming, she literally had like 8 different people who were her tentacles, who would move with her, and with like every word she would do, they were like people literally holding them and like touching her face with, like, so they just, I don't know how you translate that to what they made it look like because I'm not an artist in that way. I don't know how they do it, but it was so impressive. And then at the very end scene, I was nervous about because if you remember, at the end, Ursula gets huge, okay? Because she gets Triton's. Triton, she becomes like the queen of the sea, right? Because she temporarily kills Triton. And she becomes really big because she's pissed that Prince Eric killed Flotsam and Jetsam, whatever their names are, her little eel friends. And so she becomes like literally like, I don't know, like a sea monster. Well, she's already a sea monster, but like a sea monster in the way that like she like comes out of the water, right? She's huge. And I was nervous about that because I was like, how are they gonna make this for the live action, And in my mind, when I was watching the movie, I was like, okay, they're able to do a whole bunch of CGI stuff for underwater, but that part is like partially out of the water, partially in the water, whatever. I was nervous. Y'all, that part was done so well that I thought it was scary. As an adult, I was like, ooh, like I don't know how kids are gonna handle this part because they made her look absolutely terrifying. I fully believed that, it was like if you were driving down the PCH and you saw a huge monster emerge from out of the water, like that's what it looked so real. I don't know how the crap they did it, but it was absolutely terrifying. So I would say if your kids are under the age of like 5, I don't know about that part, but it was done so well. Also, I really appreciate, first of all, they stick completely to the storyline, if I haven't already said that, to the original. And I was really nervous that they were going to, make it like 2023 very like, well, let me back up. I do believe that a woman can do whatever she sets her mind to and that she doesn't need a man to whatever, all that, right? But I wanted to see the movie. I wanted to see the original movie that I fell in love with. I didn't want them to change the fact that she gives up her voice. No, I want to see the original cartoon classic, okay? And so I was really appreciative of the fact that they just kept it the same. They didn't change. They changed like minute things. And when I say minute, I literally mean like in the cartoon, to give up her voice, she signs a scroll in this one instead that she like takes a part of her fin and like puts her blood on it instead. Like they really kept it the same otherwise. Other than like adding some things, which is fine, but they kept the storyline the same. And what I really appreciated is that even specific scenes from the cartoon that were iconic, they kept for the live action. Like Ariel coming out of the water when she first gets her legs and swimming up to the surface and she does the whole hair flip. They kept that. And like this, even scenes where when Ursula, so Vanessa is Ursula's human form when she's trying to seduce Eric into not falling for Ariel anymore. So she like, you know, makes like a hot human version of herself. The part when Vanessa turns back into Ursula at the end when Ariel snatches her necklace off and gets her voice back. Even like the crawl, the creepy crawl that she would do that's so iconic in the cartoon. Like they match that. And like the scene where Ursula becomes huge and you see her crown like emerging from the water and Ariel and Eric are holding on to it and then they jump off when she gets, they did, like, so I really appreciate scenes like that, like the attention to detail that only like true like diehard fans from the cartoon would notice. They kept that in there and like even, it's cool, like, this sounds like so out of touch and like not relatable at all, but like watching it with the premiere crowd versus like just watching it the second time, it's like, it's fun that people appreciate little things like that because like people who've worked on the movie, so they're like clapping at parts, are like, oh yeah, we killed that, because they're finally getting to see what it looked like. Just small things like that I really appreciated. And they also, like I said, they added things, so they have new songs. I think there's 2 new songs because I didn't realize that in the original, Ariel only has 1 song, Party Your World, that's it, which is kind of wild because she's the main character and she has a beautiful voice. So they added another song for Ariel, Prince Eric got a song, Scuttle and Sebastian kind of do a song. That's cool because I always mess up Lin-Manuel Miranda's name. Thank you. he did like a rap version for Scuttle to like tell Ariel what was going on, so that was really cool. I loved all the new songs. I loved everything they did with it. Also, this is not a spoiler, but I'm happy that I'm telling you because I don't think a lot of people have noticed when they're watching it. There's a cameo by Jodie Benson, who was the original Ariel. She was the voice of Ariel in when did it come out? 1991, 1992, anyway, the original.
89.
89 it came out?
I'm pretty sure we just spoke, like when we were talking about the drag queen, that it was referenced. I think they said that the movie came out in 1989.
I think you are right. I think I heard damn, I didn't realize, well, that's not that old, but for some reason I thought it was like 90.
89.
Wow. Okay, so 1989. Damn, that's so weird to think that it's been around though.
I was 3 when it came out.
Wow. You're not old. That was not a wow, you're old.
No, it makes sense of why I don't remember it.
You know?
As much as you do.
You got it. Well, I'm just a freak and I rewatch it like every 3 months. But so the original Jodie Benson, the original Ariel, she makes a cameo, and look out for, it's like the part when Prince Eric takes Ariel like out into the village and she's like seeing like the human world for the first time, and they're at this like market kind of, and Jodie Benson like hands Ariel something for like a split second, and they hold the camera on long enough for people to be like, oh, that's Jodie Benson. But I don't think, if you don't know, obviously, because we never saw Jodie Benson unless you're just like a Little Mermaid super fan like I am in the original, so look out for that. Also, the original Sebastian, the voice of him, he also makes a cameo, which I don't think a lot of people, I barely even noticed. And it's when Ariel first turns into a human and there's a fisherman who saves her and he puts her on his boat and you don't really see him. You just really hear his voice. I think they show his face for like a split second, but if you pay attention, he's the voice of Sebastian. I believe his name is Samuel E. Wright, which is really sad because he died and didn't get to see the live action come out, but at least they got the film with him.
Sebastian is the crab, correct?
Yeah. So it's so nostalgic, and everybody did such a, like, it's so hard because obviously you fall in love with the original voices of all the characters, but like everybody did a really good job. Like I think Daveed Diggs, I think is his name, from Hamilton. He played Jefferson in Hamilton. He plays Sebastian in the live action, and then Awkwafina plays Scuttle, and then what's that kid's name? Jacob Tremblay. Is that the guy's name? He's not a little anymore. He's like 18 now, but like, I think that's his name. He plays Flounder. Correct me in the show next week if I messed up. Shout out to that dude, which is wild for him because when he plays Flounder, like he has a little kid voice, and then by the time 4 years goes by, obviously like you go through puberty, and now his voice is like so deep, and so he's doing press, and he's like, yeah, it's so weird to hear my voice prepubescent. But the whole cast does such a good job. Halle freaking Bailey. Girl, first of all, people are gonna say, oh, well, Drew, you're just being biased because you want a black woman player. No, I don't care. I don't care what color she is. She was absolutely perfect. She was perfect. Halle has like, I don't know how she is in real life. I did meet her one time. I met Chloe and Halle like long before they were like big like they are now. But she has this like innocence and like purity that she played so well, that Ariel has, this kind of like naivety, I would say, but Ariel's not naive. She just like knows what she wants, and well, two different points. I was gonna say the reason why I really like the message this time is for whatever reason they kind of made you feel like it wasn't just that she was giving up her voice for a man, it was that she had a dream, she wanted to be where the people are, okay? She wanted to learn about that world, and she was gonna do whatever she had to do to achieve her dream. And they kind of painted it that way as opposed to making it focus on Prince Eric, which I appreciated. But Halle Bailey was just, first of all, she looked absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. Her voice, I don't even need to talk about it. I don't even need to convince you, because if you've ever heard Halle just open her mouth, her voice is like chills, instant chills. When I tell you that every single time I listen to her version of Part of Your World, I tear. Every single time. It's just something about this, when you listen to certain people's voices or certain chords, it just gives you chills instantly. And because she, in every song, which is also really difficult to take such classic songs that people love and make it your own, she just adds little things, and she made them even better, which is, first of all the respect in the world to Alan Menken, who composed The Little Mermaid and also Hercules and also like a few other classic Disney movies. Just took the music and she like made the octave higher on some parts where like the songs are already hard enough to sing. Like Part of Your World and the Part of Your World reprise, when the classic scene when Ariel like lifts herself up off the rock, which we can do like a whole show really about that moment, because every little girl, probably little boys too, in the world, after they watched The Little Mermaid, did that in some pool or bathtub growing up. Anyway, I digress. That part is already hard enough to sing, and she like went up like 2 octaves to do it. Her voice is untouchable, like melodic in the best way, just almost too good for Disney. And that's saying a lot, because Disney's great, okay? Her voice was just so beautiful. Like I said, the second time I cried 3 times. 3 times. And it was like one just like from just being overwhelmed by the movie in general. And then from hearing her voice and seeing her, it was just truly an experience. And she was the perfect Disney princess. And so much pressure on her end, by the way. I can't imagine like how she felt doing that. Because she talks about it in interviews. She's like, this was also my favorite Disney princess, so I just wanted to do her justice. And did she do her justice? Good. It was so freaking good. So all the respect in the world to Halle Bailey. Like,
impressive how she can shut out all the noise.
Right? And I forgot what interview I was watching, and they asked her about that. They're like, so, you were cast as a black woman playing Ariel, like, the backlash, how did you feel about it? And she was like, she said that she expected it, so it wasn't like, it was still hard, but she knew that was gonna happen.
Wasn't as much of a shock.
Exactly. So it's good that she like prepped herself for that, but still, people are freaking rude. The trailer when it first came out, it like had so many downvotes, which is like racist people, whatever. But what I'm happy about is that it has killed at the box office. It has already surpassed what the original did, as well as the soundtrack. I think they're at like 320 million or something like that, as it was like this past weekend. So they're freaking killing it, and they already said that it has surpassed all the other live action princess movies. So Halle Bailey, a round of applause for you. The whole cast, truly, everybody did such a good job. The director, shout out to Disney, honestly, for casting Halle. That's also huge. The director, I believe it was him really, but the studio had to approve it, all of that. And also what I really appreciate, I know we're running out of time, but I still want to say this. I really appreciate the fact that they kept her hair true to how she wears her hair. As a black woman would wear hair, I was so scared they were gonna slap like a lace front wig on her. Like, I was like, just don't, just. And she said, she talked about this in an interview, how she had a whole conversation with them about like if they were open to it. She was like, I have a lot of, there's like integrity with my hair, and like I would love to keep it the same way if we could. And they were completely open to hearing her out, which is dope, of Disney to do that. And if you think about it, I feel like a mermaid would have hair like that, because if you swim underwater, your hair is gonna get like locked up after a while, So they did like this perfect hybrid. It was just, mwah, chef's kiss. I was overwhelmed. I want to see it a third time. I will see it a fourth. Honestly, I wanted to see it as many times as I could because I wanted to contribute to the box office numbers. So if you haven't already seen it, not just to contribute to the box office numbers, but because it's an excellent movie, it is great for all ages. I don't care if you're a kid, for sure, because you'll just love it. But if you're an adult and you still have a little child in you, because we all do, go watch it. It's not weird. There's a whole bunch of adults in the theater. It's almost like you forget. Same thing how I feel about Barbie, which we're probably gonna have to do a whole other episode on that when that comes out too. It's like, sure, the Barbie movie is gonna be filled with kids, the Little Mermaid's gonna be filled with kids, but it's also so many adults because the adults grew up watching the Little Mermaid. The adults grew up playing with Barbie. So it's just a fun experience for the whole family, and I highly recommend. And again, like I said, we have the dupes of the dress that I wore to the premiere available for you guys to buy. We also have the lipstick shade that I wore available, the exact one. So what I did is and this is what I do whenever I put on lipstick, I always like make my own color. I never just slap on a color. So we have my MAC chestnut liner available, which I believe I have that on right now. It's like what I do with the outline, which you guys have seen. If you've seen that episode of Meet Me on Market, if you haven't already, go back and watch that. Shop that liner. I mixed it with 2 Shiseido lipsticks, which we have available to just create like the perfect ombre lip that I wore to the premiere. So if you want my whole look, gross. It sounds so like, if you want my look, then I wore the, whatever. But if you want my look that I wore to the premiere, we have dupes available. You can wear it to the premiere if you want. If you want to wear your own mermaid core fit, you can, because that's a whole other thing, mermaid core, thanks to the movie. And tell me about it. Tell me about it next time. As usual, I appreciate you guys for watching, and I will see you next time live right here on Meet Me on Market Under the Sea. Oh my God, wait, I forgot to say when the bubbles are up. Life is the bubbles.